Yeah, this is Jason.
Yeah, how's it going? It's Greg.
It's going pretty decent, man. How are you?
Very good, very good. Greg Kihn, how's it going with you in the land of music these days?
The, the land of music. Well, you know what? Every time I walk down the street, people either drive by, they either wave at me or they give me the finger, one or the other.
Wow. Rekindled, we keep on having the name in the traditional album titles.
Yeah, because that was it's hard to explain, but that started way back in the '70s when we made our first album. And I remember the first album was just called Greg Kihn. And then we did the second album, and we go, well, what should we call it? And somebody said, well, let's call it Greg Kihn again. And then the third album was, well, what are we going to call that one? Well, let's call it Next of Kin. And before you know it, it was out of hand. It was conspiracy, consolidation, contagious. God, and now here we are. It's our 18th album, and there's no slowing down. So I guess, for those that like it, it's going to be there for a long time.
You got some pretty rocking tracks on this new album, I have to say.
Yeah, man. Yeah, first of all, it's a couple of things. This band, the Greg Kihn Band, that's currently working right now, is the best Greg Kihn Band that we've ever had. My son Rye is on lead guitar, and he was a direct student of Joe Satriani, and Joe was a guitar player in my band before Rye, so we've had real nice continuity there. Also, I have Robert Berry as my bass player, and he plays everything. He plays keyboards, bass, you name it, even drums. The guy is an amazing musician, and he was our production guy. He basically produced the album, and then the really cool thing was I used a couple of different drummers. For a couple of songs, I used my original drummer going back to 1976, and that would be Larry Lynch, who, if you remember correctly, when we formed the band, he was Steve's brother-in-law. Steve was the bass player. It was like, oh, hey, my brother-in-law is a pretty good drummer. Let's get him in the band. So lately we've settled on a new drummer. He's great. He comes to us from Sammy Hagar's band.
Wow.
And I had to talk to Sammy a couple of months ago, get permission. I said, because, Sammy's real busy. He's got Chickenfoot. He's got the Van Halen reunion. They're going to be doing shows with different people. And he said, well, why don't you borrow Dave for the interim for the whole summer, and then we'll talk about it, like in the fall again. And hopefully he's going to go back into the studio with Chickenfoot, so I can just keep using Dave for another couple of years.
Well, you're surrounding yourself with some great musicians, I have to say that.
Yeah, I've been lucky, and this is the ironic thing. I'm a terrible guitar player. I suck as a guitar player. It's a well-known fact that of all the guitar players in the USA and the Canada and the continental, I'd say the entire North American continent, I am the worst. I'm the lamest. I'm a three-chord guy. I learned three chords back in like 1967 when I learned my first Beatles song. And you know what? I'm still using the same three chords all these years.
But you know what? If those three chords still work, why not do it?
Yeah. The funny thing was when I first had we had a guy named Jimmy Lyon in our band. This is right before Joe Satriani. And Jimmy was a real good player. He was with Eddie Money for 8 years. And he wrote all the songs with Eddie. and then he was with Tina Turner for 2 years. And he comes in, the first day, he goes, I said, I don't know. This is going to be, I can't really play with you guys because I only know 3 chords. And Jimmy says, hey, man, that's all there is.
I mean, is there a lot of people that realized Joe Satriani was part of the group at one time?
Yeah, and most people don't even realize it because we didn't make a big deal out of it. But he made 2 albums with us, Love and Rock and Roll and Citizen Kin. And both of those, obviously, as soon as you hear Joe, you know it's Joe because he has a distinctive style. But, when you hear my son play the same parts that Joe did, he's got a different take on it. And, some of our songs, like Breakup Song and Jeopardy, we've been playing them for years and years. So, if we had 5 or 6 guitar players, each guy had to, had to play that song. And I think the guy that did it best was Joe Satriani, but hey, my son, Rye, does a great job on Jeopardy and the Breakup Song. So, it's really, I feel like it's a privilege for me to have my actual son, because blood is thicker than water. And someday my goal, because I have 2 grandchildren, 8 and 5, and I've already told their mom, look, I'm drafting them into the band as soon as they get up to about 15. So my goal is to have 3 generations of Kihns in the coming years.
Well, that's good. You gotta do it that way.
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool? Plus, they can't complain to Grandpa. Hey, I'm paying you.
Well, it's like that.
I will. It's been a great life. My career has been an amazing thing. I had a great career as a musician. I was a rock star. I had some #1 hits around the world, toured everywhere, opened for the Stones. We were on Saturday Night Live and all those kind of things. Then I go from that to the radio thing, and I have been submerged in radio for the last 18 years. Doing the morning show on KUFX radio in San Francisco. That's a very big market, and there's not much time for you to have a life after the morning show. And that ended a couple of years ago, and I started writing novels, and I wrote 3 or 4 novels in the interim. And now here I am with a new CD, a new band. I'm working on a new novel that'll come out in the fall. And it's like, when they used to find old blues guys, do you remember when you were a kid, you'd read these things like, they just rediscovered Mississippi John Hurt living as a shoe salesman in Cincinnati, right? And they would go, right? So, oh my God, it's him. He hasn't recorded it since 1923. And, they'd rediscover these guys, and then they'd make albums, and they'd have a whole second career. Well, I feel like I got rediscovered just this year. And it's like, where was Greg Kihn all these years? Well, he was on the radio. That was the problem. He was on the radio making money. And it wasn't until really they cut me loose from the radio station that I started seriously writing songs again. And, it was liberating to write songs and go in the studio after all those years, man. I mean, 18 years without, going in the studio or writing songs. And then suddenly, boom, I was in a creative, I couldn't stop writing, and I'm still writing. As a matter of fact, we're going in the studio Wednesday. That'd be day after tomorrow. We're going to go in the studio and start cutting the next album, believe it or not.
Because after being, off from music for this long. You've got this brain going wide open probably now. With all these ideas, fresh ideas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's just like if the fact that you get this opportunity again after all these years, it's a wonderful thing. Plus, when you've been storing ideas like I have, you got a couple of notebooks full of really great ideas here, just waiting to turn them into songs. It didn't take us more than a few months to write all the songs for the new album, the Rekindled album, and we've already got 2 songs towards the next album. So I think it's going to be pretty quick.
And we can tell with the happiness in your voice, you're having a great life, and everything's going your way. That's awesome too.
Yeah, I've been a lucky guy. I've had an amazing life and all these great careers. And I mean, if it all ended tomorrow, I'd have to say, yeah, that was a pretty good run. But I have a feeling that it's going to go on for many, many years. I'm just starting out the new era of having my son in the band. So that's got to be worth like at least another 10 years, don't you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's great.
Yeah. All of my buddies, all growing up, everybody talked about it. Wouldn't it be great if my kid was in the band? Well, look, I've actually got it. And the guy is phenomenally good. Being Satriani's student really made the difference. I mean, he went to the Berklee School of Music in Boston as a jazz guitar major, and he graduated from Cal Arts as a jazz guitar major. So the guy knows what he's doing. And it's ironic because I'm a 3-chord guy. Hey, Dad, can you show me this? Well, I can show it to you. It's an E chord. Have you ever seen one of those?
Yeah. And Greg, making music videos, I've just recently seen one of your new videos, and it's still fresh. It's good.
Yeah.
What do you think of making music
Yeah.
videos nowadays?
Oh, it's a gas, man. When we first started making videos back in the first days of MTV, we were the first group to do a concept video that actually had a story, and that was the Jeopardy video, and it was kind of like a Night of the Living Dead takeoff, and MTV played it all the time because it was the only one like that. And of course, within a few months, there were tons of concept videos, but for the moment, we were the very first, and we got a ton of airplay. It was something different, and it was a lot of fun making the videos. I mean, we were kind of like B movie makers. You know what I mean? It was like Roger Corman or William Castle or somebody. we were just trying stuff, and if it worked, we'd leave it in. If it didn't work, we took it out. Now we did the new videos, and here's my problem. Videos now are very well. Like for instance, we had girls in the first 2 videos, Big and The Life I Got. We're making the 3rd video right now. And I tell them, look, I'm done with the girls. I don't want to see any more girls. Well, they're saying, well, you gotta have a girl in the video. You got to. And I'm saying, no, let's do something completely artful, something that's different. And you don't have to have a girl in every video. For God's sake, are we that crazed? We got to put it in every video. So right now I've been talking to the guys in the band, and I'm trying to come up with some different ideas. But the funny thing is, at this point in life, it's like I just go and do my thing. I do my music, and I'm not really aware of everything around me. I feel like there could be a girl like right there next to me dancing in front of me. I like completely ignore her because I'm in my own little world.
And Greg, for touring and stuff, is there going to be some tour dates to add to this?
Yes, we're putting the tour dates together right now, and we'll be all over the country. We'll be in the Midwest, and we'll be back east, and we'll be in the Northeast. So I would say if you wanted to get a fine, read the fine print and see everything, you can go to gregkihn.com, the website, and all the tour dates are there, and all the itineraries are there, and we got some tour dates coming up around here that's everybody's buzzing about. We're gonna be playing with Huey Lewis and the News next month, and Huey's an old buddy of mine, and we played together all the time back in the old days.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be doing a couple of county fairs, which is great because all the kids love to come out and see the band. Plus, some good old ripping, really down and dirty rock and roll bars, just raunchy places.
When was the last time you did, the circuit, to play all these gigs? It must have been a little while now.
Yeah, about 18 years, man.
Okay.
And, we used to play every day. I mean, we were one of those very hard-working bands. So we go out on the road, and we would play almost, 4 nights on, 1 night off, 4 nights on, 1 night off. And we were, back in those days, we were like Iron Men. Now it's, it's a little different. It's like, oh God, my back hurts from that gig last night,
Yeah. And one more thing.
Now, where are you? Are you up in Nova Scotia?
I'm in Nova Scotia, Canada. Yeah.
That's great, man. When I was 18, me and my, this was, what was it? It was the era of Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Okay.
And a friend of mine bought a farm, and it was on the it wasn't Nova Scotia. What's the one next to
New Brunswick?
Scotia? Yeah, New Brunswick, and there is the big river that goes through the New Brunswick. And if you took it down, it took it to Nova Scotia. And I always, whenever I go, and I was only about 18 years old, and we were kind of like hippies, we were just drifting around, and I always remembered that song. I think it was by Gordon Lightfoot. Farewell to Nova Scotia, the sea-bound coast. May your mountains dark and dreary be. For when I am far away on the briny ocean front, will you ever heave a sigh and a wish for me? I always used to sing that.
Nice.
We're coming into Nova Scotia. Oh, farewell to Nova Scotia.
You
Finally,
got it.
I got all the guys to see it. Yeah, it was pretty cool, man. But I remember the country was so beautiful, was so wonderful. I was born and raised in Baltimore, which, let's face it, it's an inner city, not really charming. It's kind of like New Jersey. But when you go up and suddenly you're in Canada and you cross the border, it's just beautiful. The land is gorgeous. It's unspoiled. I really loved it, and I'd like to go back there every once in a while.
Well, you have to book Greg Kihn Band to come down here and play a few shows. That'd be something.
Yeah, is there any good venues in your neck of the woods?
There's a very good one. Yeah. Yeah, Casino Nova Scotia.
Called?
Casino Nova Scotia.
Hold on, I'm gonna write that down. Okay, just give me a sec. And where is it? Is it in Nova Scotia, in the town?
Yeah, it's like in Halifax. It's the capital.
Yeah, Halifax is the main. That's the main town.
Yeah.
Okay, Casino,
Casino,
Nova
Nova Scotia.
Scotia.
Yeah, that's it. Casino, Nova Scotia.
Great.
There's a lot of bands that play there, and I think you guys would fit right good in that venue. And
Perfect.
of course, I'd be at the
Yes.
concert seeing you guys.
Oh man, we'll have to have a couple cold ones and
Absolutely.
toast to your health.
Excellent stuff. And Greg, one final thing here. Sound quality to you, like how important is it to you going in the studio and you making the best product ever? Because what we hear on this album delivers a certain quality of sound.
Yes, that's a good point because, as you know, technology has had changed by leaps and bounds since I first started making records. You know, back in those days, we made vinyl records and we taped it on, magnetic tape, none of which is used anymore. Now it's all computerized. But, our producer, Robert Berry, has all the latest bells and whistles. They all use Pro Tools now on the computer. And, they can make it as sharp and clear as you can imagine. And really the quality of the signal, it's like night and day when we used to make records in the old days. We made Jeopardy, we made it on a 16-track machine, for God's sakes. It was a 16-track Ampex machine. Now they don't even have tracks. They just, it's amazing. But the beauty of the sound and how it's improved over the years, that's one of the nice features of rock and roll these days. Although, you remember when we were kids and you would listen to really badly produced stuff like Louie Louie, where you couldn't tell what the guy was singing, and it seemed to somehow it made it better. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
You just hear you like, oh, I don't know, and you go, what the hell is that guy singing?
Yeah, the compression of the radio.
Yeah, well, that was one of the big deals. When I was on the radio, I really had to get used to the compression because I didn't realize it, but everything I said, every note that I played, everything was getting compressed, big time before it goes out on the air because they super duper do compression on the radio. It makes everything sound not the same, but the same level.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know how a lot of times those commercials will be twice as loud as the show.
Yeah.
And they don't want that. They want everything to be more or less the same level. And, it's just another... I think to myself, this is where we are now. Where are they going to be in like another 20, 30 years? Are they going to have... we're not even going to watch records. We're going to watch like holograms, performing on your desk or something.
Yeah.
Imagine what's next.
Well, it's going to be a lot of distortion probably because it's everything seems to be overcompressed. But
Yeah. And if you listen to a lot of the hits now, the teenage records, there's like 19-year-old girls coming out of the charts left and right now, and they really have a sound. They really first of all, there's a lot of autocorrect going on.
Yes.
A lot. And it lends a weird sound to it. I can't put my finger on it. We're kind of old school guys. We just do it the old way, the old fashioned way. If I started getting too deep into the auto tune, God knows I'd probably wound up singing like one of those rap guys.
Yeah, that'd be something else. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. But I gotta say, in closing, I've had a tremendous career. I've been very lucky. I've been privileged. My mom and dad are gone. They've been gone now for 15 years. But my mom used to always say, how, Gregory, it's a privilege to have this job. And, to go from that to radio to writing books and then back to making records again, it's
All right.
beautiful. And give my regards to all my brothers up there in Nova Scotia. Tell them I'll be up there soon and we'll have some fun.
Awesome. I really look forward to that, and nothing but goodness to say about you, and you're a very good man to speak with.
Oh, shucks. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, Greg, you have a great evening, and we'll talk to you again.
All righty. Thanks, man. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.